welcome back to another episode of our Last 30 podcast. You can see here with us another guest. We'll go ahead and let Dr. Fred introduce him for us.
Yeah, thank you, Caesar. And as you can tell, both Caesar and I are a little under the weather, so you're going to see us drink our tea and fight off coughs. But we have a special guest today, my friend, someone that I've known for a while now. I reached out to him. I said, man, I'd love for you to share your perspective on our premise on this podcast, which is, envision the last 30 days of life and how you respond and what you do. So if you don't mind, man, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and again, your family life and anything you want to share with us. Bro.
Yeah, man. Armand Banks, born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis is fun, although I don't go back as much. But inner city kid, single mother. I would call myself a community baby. That's what my grandmother used to call me. She said that because you don't got no daddy around, it's gonna take all of us, and it took all of from her kids to my mother, to cousins, uncles, grandfather. So I come from a nice, solid background of just different perspectives of elder people to help mold me. Play football, growing up. Played football in college. Met my wife in college. She played volleyball. She's from another country. And then been in Texas since 2015, 16, yeah. And probably about a couple months after that, I met you, worked as an academic advisor, but all in all, I'm a barber by trade and by skill. And that's what I do for a living. Took a break from that to become an academic advisor. And then once I left that, jumped back into what it is that I know how to do best, which is make people look better with clippers.
That's right.
And I've been doing that all the way until,
So you said that you played college football.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
So how I got there, right? Graduated high school at 18. I didn't know what I was going to do. Thought I was going to go to the military. Went to join the Army, and the recruiter said, "Don't lie, don't lie." So I go in there. He looks at the scar on my knee, and I told him what procedure that I had on the knee and stuff like that. He was like, "Oh, okay. You had MEPS." He said, "All right, well, put your clothes on." Walk me out, and the recruiter looks at me and said, "What happened?" Because I told him the truth. You told me don't lie. And I guess I got medically denied from the military. So worked odd-end jobs after that. Worked at Greyhound, worked at KFC for a week. Told me to stop eating chicken. and it was bad.
But it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. What's the secret? Are they baking it?
No, they don't bake it. They fry it. They fry it. It's how they fry it. It's the...
Okay, yeah. That's another podcast.
That's another podcast. Let's give out the secrets here.
And a side note, when I was growing up, on Fridays, my grandfather would bring KFC, an actual bucket that came in just like that, and it was special. Yeah. And it was special when, and so for me, it's not just delicious chicken; it's a beautiful memory.
Yeah,
when my grandfather was doing
That's dope.
KFC was it.
KFC was it. And I worked at Greyhound. And a buddy of mine, he left and went to school. I snuck him on a bus so he can go to school. And he went to school in Kansas, Mid-American Nazarene University. And he came back probably at the end of his semester. He was like, "Yo, you want to play football?" By that time, I was 21. And my grandma had just passed. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, like, why not? And he was like, all right, I'm going to have a coach.
So you're already out of high school?
I'm 21. Yeah, my high school I was a carpenter. I worked different jobs just because I didn't have a plan out of high school. There was no plan. There was no discipline for me. So it was just, you'll figure it out. And I ended up going away to school, went to campus, and got there. And I realized that I was the oldest person on the team. Wow. Oldest, probably another senior there. Yeah. But they looked at me as a freshman because on paper I was a freshman. And something had happened, the situation, and the way I approached the situation, the coach was just enamored by it. And he was like, tell me more about you. I was like, well, this is what I did. He was like, okay. And from that moment on, he didn't treat me like a freshman anymore. he treated me as if I was kind of like an elder statesman on the team. And I had a free pass to, kind of just have a little bit more freedom of things. One, because he knew he could trust me because I had real life experience versus some of the other young kids who were on the team. They fresh out of their mom's house. So, and played there for 4 years.
What state was that?
Kansas.
That was it.
It was in Kansas, in Kansas City area, but it's in Olathe, Kansas. It was great. It was great. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. The best getting away from St. Louis.
And you got back to structure, right? So you were back on the team. For a while there, you're just kind of doing your own thing. It's not working, but how do you stop that?
Yeah, you don't. And a person who's trying to find their way in life, especially somebody like myself who didn't have that type of structure, that male figure to impute that on you, I needed that. There's no telling where I would be if I did not get that opportunity to go to that school.
And that's such a great point, because I think about a lot of young men, and without organized sports, without that coach, that type A strong male figure in their life, very few of us don't have a whole lot of other options. To have that bull elephant tell us what to do.
Tell us what to do.
And guide us.
And
uplift us, and also celebrate us.
Mm-hmm.
Armand, you're doing great. But you're not gonna do great.
That's it.
No. So your high school coach is like, Armand, you're doing great.
Yeah.
But if you don't show up on time, I can't have you on the team. So now you learn that discipline and all that other good stuff.
And that's where that came from me, especially, like I said, I have that.
But you are doing great, Armand.
Thank you. Not having that consistent father figure, my coaches were my dads. You know what I mean? And each coach that I've ever had, I could really go back and figure out something that I learned from that man. Each one. And, it's been a blessing. So now, being a parent, it's like people always look at me and my son's relationship, because it's a lot that's out there, and they see what we do. They think it's just that, but that's my way of communicating. Because that's the way I was kind of parented in that form. So it's like, this is all I know, man.
And you said that. You said you're just coming from your son's game.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what are you doing these days? I mean, I got my full-time job, but I'm a coach.
Yeah.
And for you, coach is integrated with fatherhood.
It is. It's been it's been the biggest blessing. Oh my God. It's been the big, because I don't know how I would have been able to parent him, because I didn't have the tools from the fatherhood perspective. You know what I mean? From the fatherhood perspective. So it's like, it's certain things that the way I teach him, it's the way a coach would teach a player.
Yeah.
But I still have that nurturing side, because I was raised by a bunch of women. So my wife, she said something one day. She was like, you're kind of like a better parent than my dad was. And I was like, oh, that's a big one. I'm like, wait a minute, why do you feel that way? She said, because you give them so much structure, but you love them through it. And I was like, and that compliment right there let me know that, hey, I'm doing a good job from the right person. The next compliment I need is probably when I'm probably about 80, 90, and my children say, Dad, good job.
But that's unique and it's beautiful. And here's why I think. When people would ask, like, you spend so much time going to school, what did you get from it? I said, well, I got weekly confirmation that I was doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very least, at the end of the semester, I knew that I had done well.
I do well.
And the thing about a coach and coaching and that relationship is you get daily, hourly, every second if you're doing well or not, and opportunities to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
You are actually modeling behavior, love, through affirmation.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing great.
Yeah.
And I told you so. Where perhaps if you were just a father and everyone else was doing the coaching, maybe you'd have some time at dinner to say good job to make son.
Yeah.
You have 100 opportunities. 100
opportunities. Like today, he made a play and he looked at me, and it's just something that little head nod got him just like, cool, I accomplished something today. Those moments right there are priceless. Oh, they're priceless.
and I think that I would imagine that a lot of fathers are envious of that. If you don't get to be a coach, if you don't have that much engagement, interaction, find a way
Find a way.
Even if you're not coach, if you weren't his coach, how could a father find time to engage with his son or daughter to explain sports or not?
Yeah, then you got to jump into their world. You got to jump into their world. Like today, like you show me your son's room and what he's into. I'm thinking like, oh, wait a minute, my son might have other interests outside of this ball. Like, I need to really jump into that. Like that moment right there, you don't know it because I didn't say anything. It challenged me. Because I'm like, what else is he? Who else is he? You know what I mean? Because one day he's going to stop throwing this ball. And I need to teach him to not only have identity so wrapped up in that. You know what I mean?
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that for my son. He has always wanted to build. And so this allows, and he likes quiet time. So this allows him time to process, to decompress a little bit. Sometimes he might struggle with some emotional issues. And so here's a good way of him just kind of relaxing and working on his Legos. And then he brings me when he constructs and says, I built an 18-wheeler. And it's not an 18-wheeler model. No. It's just him piecing together an 18-wheeler. And those are my opportunities to be like, what a great job, man. You did a phenomenal job. And I let him know, I could never do that.
I couldn't do that,
And also tell him and remind him how smart he is. And that's important to him because his sister gets all the accolades and all the awards and everything. And she is smart. So he starts to think, maybe I'm not smart. And you are smart in other ways.
In other ways.
He can't do it. And there's a pride point there. And so, maybe it's for Malik, it's going to be reading or constructing or painting or whatever else in the arts to complement the athletic side of it. I love that. So our whole concept. So again, thank you, Armand, for sharing, and I hope you get a better idea of who he is. I know him, and the reason I invited him is because we grab whether it's lunch or we meet around the watering hole, if you will, just getting coffee together or whatever it was back in the day, and just kind of talk about a lot of things, and always appreciating your perspective on life. And when we started creating the idea of this podcast, the whole idea is to visualize being told that maybe you only have 30 days to live. And what does that thought do to everything about you? If I were to ask you to define yourself, I couldn't imagine you wouldn't bring up the word family within seconds. And oftentimes in our communities, we're lucky to be part of collective societies, collective groups, not individualistic. Right. And as is the case with your spouse and her background, it's very much all of us together, or we can't achieve. So can you talk about this scenario? If given 30 days, what's you're in a doctor's office and he just gave you some really great news, and you're alone, and you're not expecting this. There's no indication. Who's the first person you call or text, and what does that call or text look like? I think first person I call is God. I'm telling you, man. I'm coming. Right. God, I'm pretty sure he already knows, right? But I think the first. I just want to confirm. I just want to confirm this. I see you. You know what I mean? I'm getting my tears out. I'm crying. I'm not a crier. I don't cry. I don't remember the last time I cried. But that would be a moment. And as a man, have you cried?
Have I cried as a man? It was college football. It was, football. And it was that last game. Wow. I was 24. So in that moment, I'm like, that hit me. This is it. And it wasn't so much so as I'm done playing football. Where am I going to get that structure again?
What's next?
What's next? You know what I'm saying?
It's true. All your structure.
All my structure was gone. But I was ready for life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I called my wife, man. God willing that she was probably still be there, just in that room, probably at the doctor's office with me. But I'll call her and tell her we have a conversation that we need to have when I get home, and we'll, figure out things from there. But 30 days left to live is some, everything just flashed right before your mind. Like, did I do enough? Did I tell enough people that I love them? Did I set up enough things to, run without me? I always tell a lot of my clients who have children, and are about to be fathers, and say, when you have a child, mortality becomes a real thing for you mentally. Yeah. It hits. Like, you don't know that you're going to think about it every day, but you think about it every day. And every day you just have to create a life that they can live without your presence. That's what I try to do every day. It's like, everything's a teaching moment for me with my son. You know what I'm saying? Not my daughter, not so much. It's pure love right now with her because she's so young. But yeah, she's still big. But did I do enough for you to live this life without me? And if I got 30 days left to do that, it's time to get the ball rolling. You know what I mean? It's time to get the ball rolling. But I'm calling my wife, and hopefully we can come up with a plan that really, first of all, we really got to see if that doctor's wrong. We got to get a second opinion. We got to get a second opinion. You know what I'm saying? Hey, why am I just taking your advice? You know what I mean? We're going to let some more doctors before we're going to use that. We're going to use 10 of those days.
You're my dentist. What do you
know, man? Come on, man.
No, it's like, I'm watching the youth or whatever situation, they say, they tell this tragic story about a child or a parent or something, and it just, I sit there for a few seconds in disbelief, and then start to process, and I look for my children, and I think, what is life like for them if I'm not here? And the thought that I can't do is, what's my life like if they're not here? I can't do it.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
Yeah,
I'm weak in that regard. As a man, that is a weakness that I do not care to explore.
Every man is weak in that regard. I was watching somebody who he's a trainer, he's a boxer trainer, and he was talking about, he had a conversation with Jay-Z, and the conversation with Jay-Z led to the point about parenting and children. And he said, Jay-Z told me something that was amazing. He said that a rich man and a poor man have the same emotions when they don't know where their children are. Like, if you just don't know where they are, like, you could be in the grocery store. No matter whether you're rich or whether you're poor, my emotions is the same as that guy who may have more or may have less. And that lets you know how equal everyone is. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. It don't matter. And because the rich man knows no amount of money can fix the problem. You gotta go find your kids. The poor man knows, even if I had all the money, I can't fix this problem. Like, where's my children? It's all just on you. So,
and maybe even for that rich man, he might even feel more vulnerable, because every time up until that moment, he could throw money at something and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Mm-hmm. I have a flat tire on my car right now, and I have to figure out, what does Monday look like for me with that flat tire?
Yeah.
Okay, that's easy. That's a plug and da-da-da-da. I can throw money at it. Yeah. If it were something more serious.
Those are problems. That's a problem. You can fix a problem with money.
100%.
That situation right there is a hardship. And I think problems come, from men. Hardships come by God because it's going to teach you something. You know what I'm saying? So what am I supposed to learn in those 30 days? That's a hardship. Yeah. What is my family supposed to learn within that 30? God, the doctor gave me 30. What are we supposed to do with this 30? That's the real question. You know what I mean? Because it's not a problem no more. Money can't fix this. Money can't buy you no more time. Money ain't going to get you this. No. This is what you got. So a bigger question is, instead of trying to fix it, how can we learn from it? And how can we teach somebody from it too? You know what I mean? That might be the way we approach it.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Another question along those lines, going back to what you said, that you don't know what you've done enough or you've said enough. Would there be anybody or anything that you would need to apologize for in those 30 days, and what might be that apology, or to who might be that apology directed to?
If that was today, I'd apologize to my dad. I'd apologize to my dad. We don't have a relationship just because, a lot of things have been said, a lot of, conversations have been had, a lot of miscommunication, misunderstanding, and I might need to do it today, right? But if I'm thinking about it, that would be the one person that I probably owe an apology to. Not because I was wrong in his, missteps in life. Because, again, you're the parent, I'm the child, I didn't ask to be here, anything like that. But the older I get, the more I understand how much he wasn't prepared. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, and I've said this to him before, I'm like, I'm gonna blame you for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fault you for that, but, you could be a better person. I'm not asking you to be a better father, but for me, I would apologize to him for kind of just wasting years of not talking to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I got the tools. I got the tools now. And the only reason why I'm not using these tools is because I don't want him to benefit from them currently, today. You know what I mean? That's so. But me personally, I would probably apologize to him. That would be one, because I'm done, right? And I ain't trying to rip the guy, you know what I'm saying? With him telling me like, hey man, you should.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Before you come in, one last thing.
Yeah, right.
31 days.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But, I don't want to go with God with any potential left. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go back with no potential. And I think that's something that I could potentially fix.
Yeah, and that's also a lesson that your father would understand, too, that we've talked about it before in different episodes, too, that we're not born knowing how to be a dad. We don't have those resources. We don't know what it means to be a dad, to have that baby in your hands and what it's going to entail. So the only thing that you know is how you were raised.
That's it.
So if you were raised in a community with love and understanding and everything like that, that's what you're going to give your kids.
Give the kids. Yeah.
If that was what was lacking in your family, then that's what's going to lack within your family as well. So I think that's a powerful message too, to leave back and to you to change, that you're changing already with your kids. That just because I was raised this way, just because maybe I don't have a close relationship with my father right now, that doesn't mean it's going to happen with me and my kids.
I think
changing that we're generational.
People have always told me like, man, maybe you didn't need a father. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, and maybe you didn't need that. Maybe his lack of presence created the father you are today. Maybe that's what that's for. You know what I mean? Actually, right?
But what if, had you had this amazing dad, that opportunity for you to understand the beauty of fatherhood would have been missed.
Because I got it.
When I brag about you, the number one thing that I say about you, you might be a great coach. I don't know. I'll never say you're a great coach.
Yeah.
You might be a great barber. I heard you're great.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to brag about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to brag about the
Father.
And you know why? Because I know good and average and great father. And I have struggled through all of those as well. And my only hope is that one day that my children will give me that pass.
Yeah.
To say, you know what, Dad, you didn't know.
You know.
You didn't know how to be a good dad. You didn't know how to be a good husband.
Yeah.
What did you know? You was trying to figure out yourself. 20-something-year-old male.
Yeah.
Like we're dangerous, man. We're like that. I describe it all the time like a baby rattlesnake. That baby rattlesnake don't know when to stop putting the poison in. It doesn't know like that's not a threat.
Yeah.
It's just a dog walking by.
Yeah.
The baby rattlesnake just bites.
And then think about it. You're still trying to figure yourself out. You're still trying to figure. So again, I prided myself on trying to do it as traditional as we could. Right. I married a woman who I thought I wanted to spend the rest of, who I think still till this day. Don't get
At the time. I think her.
Yeah. She is, right? I married that person. Let's go through life together for some years. Then, all right, if we have a child, we had it at the right time. I think I had my child when this part of my brain was fully developed. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't make as many mistakes as some of my friends might make in fatherhood because you still figure yourself out. You have yet to realize that you gotta unlearn some stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know you're supposed to unlearn that yet, but you'll figure it out. Don't worry about it.
My daughter asked me all the time, she says, you and your dad, you don't have a bad relationship, but it's not like amazing. It's like, no, it's not amazing. But my dad was 16 when he became a father. So when he was 26, I was already 10 or 11 years old.
Yeah.
I was already, and in hood years, 10, 11 years old was always a wise young kid already. I was not a baby anymore. No. By 12, I was already a young man.
Yeah.
And so that opportunity had already passed. By the time he was 27 years old, his brain was just fully developed, and he had a young man in his heart. And that's the thing. So I give my dad a pass on that.
Yeah.
And I try to make me a better father. But the one thing I'm critical of myself is I wasn't a good dad. And I wasn't a bad dad.
Yeah.
But I want to be good.
You want to be good.
I want to be a great dad.
Yeah.
And so anyway, and that's why I celebrate you, Armand, is your intentionality of being a father is just something I envy, and it's beautiful. And thank you for going out of your way to impact your children like that.
I appreciate that.
And it's a beautiful thing, man.
Thank you.
And I think that's a big part of why we're here. That there's not enough stories of men being men, of being fathers and great husbands, and without having to apologize or be embarrassed. Like, yo, I'm a great dad, and I put fatherhood above work.
Yeah. People, oh my God, you know how many clients that I work, you know what I'm saying? But I don't work as much as I could work because people know if something was to ever happen, they'll be like, well, there's one of three places he was at: home, a baseball field, or at the barbershop. That's the only places that he goes. That's all I know. That's all I've ever seen him do. That's all he does. You know what I mean? And he's rarely at the barbershop, so he's probably at the baseball field with his son or at home with his family. You know what I mean? And I think COVID exacerbated that. Like, it created that. Man, really, it set you at home with the thing that matters the most. Yeah. And a lot of people got set at home with things that they created that they realized that they don't like. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it can go work both ways. I really love the family that I've created. I have a friend of mine who, hey man, I need to get out of this house. And I understand. I completely understand it. You know? And he completely understands me. I wouldn't trade shoes with him. But, you know, it's...
Where did you learn how to be a man? And where did you learn how to be wise?
I'm still learning how to be a man, bro. I'm still learning. Learn stuff from you. Learn to see the way you operate. You've invited us over your children's birthday. You know what I mean? And I'm seeing the way you operate with your family and how everything is structured, how they receive your leadership. You know what I'm saying? From my coaches, Coach Wilmer, seeing the way he operates in manhood. Everything ain't bravado or, machismo. That's what, they say it, or just overly masculine. I've seen friends of mine, clients of mine, and I'm looking at them and how they move. I take bits and pieces from everybody, and I just incorporated it in my life. And I felt a lot. I felt a lot because the father I am, I might be getting a score of a 10, but the husband might be getting a score of a 4 or a 6, just because I'm not taking her into consideration. So I'm not, or even the man on me is, that like, hey, you're not eating what you're supposed to eat. You're not working out enough. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't firing on all cylinders by law. I'm failing every day, but I'm learning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you talk, when therapists talk about that, they talk about having that balance, right? Mm-hmm. And so let's say when you're new to the religion and you go all in, and then you go so far in that you start ignoring your family. You might even start ignoring yourself. You might start ignoring basic personal hygiene.
Yeah.
You might get so into lifting weights, so into to your music, or so into church. And what they talk about is having that balance. Be a great father, be a great husband, be a great mentor and brother. But if you overdo it on one, it's gonna pull from
somewhere. Yeah,
you know, it's just a reality. So all of a sudden, you're like, you know what? I got to start putting some more focus on my marriage.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You got your children.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they got to eat.
Right now, me and my wife, you remember this, I think we was at Commerce. I came in a little bit overweight. And me and my wife just said, you know what? We're just going to work out every morning before we go to work. And man, we had lost a lot of weight. Both of us had. But it was intentional. And then at that point, because I didn't have like a lifestyle goal, I just had like a number goal. Once I hit this number, I vividly remember the day I vividly remember the day I had some friends come in from out of town that visited Commerce, and that workout stuff ended.
Yeah.
And we haven't been back until about 3 weeks ago. And we just been so wrapped up in the kids, so wrapped up in what they need, so wrapped up in work, so wrapped up in everything else besides ourselves, right? So it's like, okay, wait a minute. When are we going to take time for ourselves? Well, we know that, hey, look, that's going to come at a cost. And it's going to come, they're going to have to, pay that cost, right? With them being so young, and we don't do daycare, we homeschool our children. We had to find a gym that has adequate daycare during the time that we both can actually go to the gym. It cost us about $300 a month to go to this particular gym, but we'll let the goal pay for the show. Because the goal on the back end is us having a longer, healthier life. And, that's all right. We'll figure it out. But
it's a beautiful thing, man.
I
love it.
Yeah.
One of the things that comes up a lot when people are given, a few months to live, in our scenario it's 30 days, but if you knew that these were the end days for you, the number one thing people would do is travel. Would you travel? Where would you go? And where are you going? Where are you going, and what are you doing on that trip?
Yeah, I don't like flying. I don't think that we should be in the air.
I'll drive.
Look, I drive. I drove. I got an uncle of mine that's a staple in my manhood. Mom Chris, he's my guy. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? But he lives in Tri-Cities, Washington. So we drove 27 hours nonstop just to go visit him for a weekend. You know what I mean?
Where's that?
It's right up under Spokane and Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I've never been through Montana, Idaho, but we just drive. The whole family. We just
it's a day and a half drive or something.
Yeah, it was beautiful. 27 hours. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But I'll take a road trip. I'll drive probably across the country. I hate flying. I hate the anxiety that I get from flying might kill me. That might kill me, you know what I mean? But
I don't even have a 30 days.
Yeah.
No, it's 14 days in. This cannot be.
Look, I hate flying, so I don't think I would even I have no desire to go across the pond, across the Pacific. Yeah. I have no desire for that, man. None whatsoever. Just because my anxiety with flying. But
which is difficult because you have to visit family members. And it's only a plane ride.
And I pop a bunch of melatonin before I get on that plane. And if something happens, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. But I know, yeah, people would travel, but me, I would, go visit family, friends. I got some friends in California, some friends on the East Coast, Florida, and stuff like that. Definitely go home to visit family in St. Louis, but I think I've created a life, bro, that I ain't really got to vacate from, man. I ain't really got to vacate from my life now. I'm happy. I'm really happy where I'm at.
So, we're talking about along those lines about traveling and things like that. So, for food, I think that's also a big important thing for our community. For me, I think when we were talking about it was my mom's cooking. I love her cooking. Yeah. If I can have her cooking 3 meals a day, every day, for 30 days, that'd be golden. So, she's going to be in the kitchen.
For sure.
For a while.
She doesn't know this yet. She doesn't have a choice.
Yeah. She'll see on the podcast. She's looking at it, so she'll find out. So just remember that, Mama.
Yeah.
But yeah, for you, what are those dishes, that traditional food, or something that you would like to eat in those 30 days?
I'll eat a slice of bacon here and there, but my mom makes fried pork chops like no other. Her fried pork chops is astonishing, man. You could put that with some some cabbage and some macaroni and cheese, and she throws some cornbread with that. Like that dish right there is a staple for me. I'm gonna eat that probably. I got 30 days, so that's 4 weeks. I'm gonna eat that once a week.
Okay.
Once a week.
You don't have to worry about heart problems.
I don't care if this one. We got 30 days. You know what I'm saying? My wife, she makes some great dishes, Dominican dishes. Plantain, fried plantain, I'm gonna eat that. I'm trying to think what else, There's a couple of restaurants that I have not hit, in different areas that I might, pick up along the way as we on that road trip, right?
Yeah.
But
that's right. You're on the road
I'm on a road trip. But just know, yeah, they're gonna have to get a big casket.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna be good.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get a big. Whatever you thought was gonna be in that casket, it's gonna be more.
It's gonna be a little extra hard.
You pre-measured me 30 days ago.
Hey,
I'm gonna need you to add
a little bit more. Add a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
It's like that old movie. We're gonna need a bigger knife. This was like we're gonna need a bigger casket.
We're gonna need a bigger casket. Yeah, I'm gonna gain a lot of weight. And then just my luck, they gonna be like, "Oh, sir, we got the wrong chart. It wasn't for you."
Did you, Armand?
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, but now you got heart.
No, man, that's not right. Take care of that. What do you think your legacy is that you leave behind?
To who? Better question. To who? Like to, friends and, things of that sort. I'm a jokester. You know what I mean? To my family, somebody who did whatever they needed to do to just take care of them, to my mother, a loving son, to, I got cousins and things of that sort, confidant, a good friend, somebody who's going to show up for me when called on, peers, just an honest person, somebody who's going to tell you like it is, co-workers, a lazy, no, I'm just kidding. It depends though, to everybody, I think we're all somebody different. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we have like one legacy that really defines us. But for me, and like I say, in this new realm, I think I would want people to look at me as just somebody who gave their all to whatever they did, especially, my wife told me something the other week. She said, you never really failed at anything that you gave your all to. And I was like, you don't think so? She was like, nothing that you really took serious and gave your all to, you've never failed at. I've never seen you fail at it, and I've been with you for 10 years. I'm like, huh. And she was like, if there's anything that you did fail at, it's because you didn't give it your all. And I'm like, it's a good, you know what I mean? Perspective. Like, that's true. So, I'm kind of undefeated when I go all in on something that I really want. I think my legacy to everybody is probably different, but whatever they say about me, it's most likely true. It's most likely true.
We talked about this on the last podcast, in 15, 20 years, 30 years, maybe none of us are here, right? But this audio, this video lives forever. And they make that reference often about people making some really poor choices in life and bad decisions. Like, that video is going to live forever. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it's a testimony. Yeah. It is a representation of what's happening today, May of 2024. Mm-hmm. And I say that date with tremendous intention, because in 10 years, you can look back and say, where was I? I think I was here. Yeah. But where was I?
Yeah. Here.
Yeah.
Here.
And so could you look into the future and speak to the 40-year-old?
This is good. To speak to him? To him?
What do you hope to be at 40 years old? I'm 51. Who do you hope to be at 51 years old? At 50 years old?
50 years old?
Your children are a certain age by then.
Yeah, Leaks out the house, he's grown.
He's out the house.
Yeah, Armand, she's 20, she's grown. Yeah, out the house, yeah. You know what? I hope to be a person that they want to be around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want them personally. I hope to be have done enough good parenting, good relationship building, to where they say, I want to go see what my dad thinks about this. You know, I want to go see what my dad insight is on this. Whatever it may be, it don't matter. With the boy, I always really want him, I want to parent him to the point to where he comes to me last. My daughter, I want her to come to me first. You know what I'm saying? But, and then, you know, as a husband, hopefully me and my wife are just still undeniably in love. At 50, everything should be pretty much, you know, my work in life should be done. You know, I'm not saying that I'll be retired or anything like that, but I shouldn't be working for money.
The grind should be over.
No, the grind should be over. Everything that I work on should be to kind of just plant a new seed to leave on this earth for somebody else. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be for money at that point. But yeah, 51. Really, what I want to know is what advice that 51-year-old had to give me at 34. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
he could reach back and say,
yeah,
I wish I could have told you.
Yeah. So at 34, what would you tell your 30? I know I'm not supposed to be asking a question.
No, this is
what would you tell your 34-year-old self? Now it's 34.
Yeah. So I take 15 years away, and I would tell myself, without getting too emotional, because it hits home, man. But I would say, go home. Go home, brother. Mm-hmm. You're putting in 80, 90 hours a week. Mm-hmm. It's killing you. Mm-hmm. Look at your weight. Look at your heart. Mm-hmm. Look at your brain. Look at your wellness. Go home, man. That's when you're going to have the greatest impact. Mm-hmm. Your job, like that, will replace you when your seat is still warm.
Yeah. They look for your
nothing personal.
Yeah.
Because it's just a job. Mm-hmm. And that's what I had to learn. Mm-hmm. Me to my 34-year-old self. Don't take it personal if they replace you or they want to replace you if you're not of value anymore. Mm-hmm. It's a job.
You serve your purpose.
It's not your family.
Yeah.
The love should come from your family, not your boss.
Did you play sports?
I did.
You play sports? Like, I think that's where I learned to never kind of be loyal to, not say loyal, but like to never like let my job or my place of business or my place of work consume all of me. Mm-hmm. Because in sports, I'm gonna tell you a story. My senior year is the guy who came in and they transferred in from a junior college, and it was a rude awakening moment for me. Right, this is a manhood moment right here for me. And we're in camp, and we could get everybody report that day, and they have the depth chart: first string, second string, third string, whatever. And I see my name. I've been working 3 years for this. First string, left tackle. I say, man, it's up this season. Like, let's get it. 3-4 days in the camp, I pull like a groin, right? So I'm like, man, groin. You know, you go to treatment, you get everything, and during that time, so you know, next guy up. He's practicing, and we had to scrimmage with another school. They came to our school to scrimmage us during practice and stuff like that. And it's one of those things where I noticed where you never let anybody kind of like take your spot, even if you hurt, right? Mm-hmm. But it also let me know that, hey, you are replaceable. Yeah. You better find a place where you become irreplaceable. And most of the time for men, that's their home. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Especially with husband, wife, father, son, you know, those relationships. My wife could leave me today and take the kids with her. At the end of the day, the new dude she's going to be with, there's going to be a hole in those kids' heart for me. You know what I mean?
You're still the father regardless.
I'm still the father regardless. And at the end of the day, we still have to parent them together. Mm-hmm. So no matter how you may not like me no more, you still we're interdependent on each other to help, you know, raise them. So in that point, I'm still irreplaceable. You know what I mean? So in that moment, and he took my spot. He played so well during that little short period of time, it negated years of work that I put in, and I never got that spot back. And so in my senior year, I had to find so what is the lessons, right? You feel like you earned that, but now you don't got it no more. You took your foot off the gas. You know what I mean? You thought it was yours, or you didn't play through something that you probably thought you didn't have to play through. You got lenient, or you stopped working, or maybe, hey, check this out. Like it goes back to the job thing. They're looking for your replacements while the seat is still warm. Yeah. You know what I mean? I remember it was times where I would be at a job and somebody died and they had the job posted online like the same day. I'm like, this lady.
You know, and the thing is, like, people are beside themselves, but the truth of the matter is, it's a business.
Yeah.
So they have to keep that machine going.
They gotta keep it going.
The only one that puts themselves in pause is your family. And that's a message to men to let you know. If you're grinding and doing stuff and you're over dedicating, and if you think it's be reciprocated, it's not. No, it will not be. No. Love is reciprocated in the home, not in your business.
Yeah. A man's first business is his family, though.
100%.
A man's first business is his family.
When I tell people, I said, my wife and I just celebrated 29 years of marriage.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And it's not an easy. Listen, it ain't got easier as the days go by. Yeah. Sometimes it gets more challenging. Yeah. But they said, so what is the secret? That's the number one piece of advice. Get a good couch, my man. Because you're going to spend some time on that couch. Yeah. You're going to run your mouth. You're going to say something dumb. You're going to maybe you're going to show up late. Whatever you think you can do, you're going to try it. You're going to aim yourself on that couch. So at least do yourself a favor and get a comfortable
couch.
Number two, and some people might take offense to this, but it is a business. Yeah. I need you to put in what I'm putting in, and I need to do the same. And so if I see you doing 80% of the work and I'm taking it, I'm not a good business partner.
Not a good business partner, no.
If we were a real business, ask yourself, would you hire her? And would she hire you? And if the answer is no, that might be a little bit more challenging for me. Because I run it like a business. Yeah. And my wife runs it like a business. Yeah. And when there was times when I was not holding up my part of the business, my part of the deal, we had to go renegotiate the contract.
You got to renegotiate the contract.
Hey, so I see you kind of doing all this stuff. Yeah. How's that helping the family? And you need those moments. And like I said, and maybe that doesn't work for everyone. It worked for us, and it wasn't so structured that it can only run like a business because there's love. Right. But a lot of it was, a splitting of work, expectations of how you communicate with the children or how you have to discipline them. Sometimes we have to take iPads and telephones away, and that hurts. Yeah. But it's a reality. It is what it is. And I just say time after time, your work is at home. The love is at home. And you had an entrepreneurial spirit from the very beginning, right? I think a lot of people do. Yeah. And because they don't like that overstructure where now you're being told when you can go home. Yeah. And that's the difficult part, and if you're in that situation...
That was the hardest part for me working, where we worked at. That was tough because I came from...
So, along those lines, I know we talked a little bit about what you would tell your... I don't even know how old you are anymore. You're like 20-some-year-old.
Does anyone have a calculator? Let me do the math real quick. I'm pretty old. Guys, so old.
No, but one of the things that I've always wondered myself as well, what would the 10-year-old you tell you? And what kind of advice would you give him?
It's good, because there was a conversation in the barbershop probably about a week ago. We were talking about, would you want to receive advice from your 80-year-old self, or would you want to go give advice to your 18-year-old self currently today? But me today, talking to my 10-year-old self, the question is he going to listen? You know what I mean? Like, is that?
Did you listen as a 10-year-old?
No, heck no.
So let me be very clear.
Heck
Let me
no.
say this so we're very
So we're
clear.
very clear.
No. Not at all.
But I mean, also, see, this goes into parenting, right? It's like, why wouldn't I listen to them? Am I cool enough to listen to them? You know, even if I made him believe that, hey, this is you, I'm you down the line. All right, am I cool enough for him to listen to? And that don't mean like, you know, I have to put on, you know, a different mask or anything like that. But like, okay, sir, you are who you are, but are you walking in the way that I respect? You know what I'm saying? Are you that?
So putting it this way, with that, your 10-year-old self, would he be proud of the man that you are now?
With understanding, I think he would be. I think he would be. He'll make a few different decisions than I would. You know what I mean? I would advise him personally to, if you are going to go to college, make sure you go to college for something that has a skill attached to it. You know what I mean? Not so much so as something that is theoretical or, I guess you could say, like, don't go to school for, you know, sociology. Go to school for something a little more technical, engineering, or, you know, something that has a certification attached to it. You know, I would pivot. That's the one thing that I think I messed up on. Is I didn't challenge myself in college. I was always just, I was witty. I was always just, you know, kind of smart enough to get by. Smart enough to just, you know, skate on. I'm a great C average student. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to give you A effort, but I'm sure ain't going to fail. You know what I mean? But I would tell him to really just use that theory of like, yo, get uncomfortable, bro. Put yourself in uncomfortable positions. Put yourself in uncomfortable environments. Go out and be diverse in your friendships. Get away from, you know, just sports. Get away from things of that sort. And let your wings spread, you know, in that realm and see where that takes you. But don't just conform yourself to the box of what your environment says you are. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, don't listen to your mom. Like do not listen to your mom. Just keep it all the way 100. Like I really wanted to be a barber right out of high school, and my mom was like, "No, that ain't." And I'm like, and I asked her to this day, I'm like, "Mom, why did you tell me that I shouldn't be a barber?" And she was like, "Because I failed it." She went to beauty school, and she couldn't acquire clientele. So she failed
She's looking out for you.
She
man.
was looking. It was coming from a place of love. But here's the problem. That's the thing when they love you too much. When you love somebody too much, you're gonna pay the role.
Yeah. You're afraid to see them fail.
To be honest with you, I kind of need you to neglect me in this moment. Do what you need to do. Especially the boy. If that's what you want to do, go for it. And my love will come in the form of kind of helping you build yourself back up. But sometimes, you know, when you lie, I don't really want advice from people who love me because they're gonna protect me too much.
Yeah. Sometimes we need to hit that wall.
I need it.
We need to hit rock bottom to be able to learn and grow from it. Yeah. And not necessarily baby, but be stopped from hitting that wall and hitting that rock bottom.
And the thing is, the lessons we learn from our own failures is different from if your mom or dad trying to teach you based on what they anticipate is going to be your failure or based on their failure. Right? You know, that time was different from this time. You know, if I were to even say, if someone say like, you know, what's it like to be a college student, the undergraduate experience? Well, I can tell you what it's like in this period in life, in the early 1990s. But I can't speak to what it's like to be a college student today. I can see them. But I don't know what it's like. And so I can give you perspective, but I can't give you advice.
I can't give you no advice. No. Go talk to a college student.
100%. Let me connect you to someone in those classes, in that degree plan, in who's an air conditioning mechanic. You want to be an air conditioning mechanic? You want to work for Tesla? Let me connect you to someone who works for those companies. Right? And that's the difference. You know, what do you think? Are there any songs that that stand out as you'd like to have played at your funeral, or a playlist of songs?
Hit 'em up, Tupac.
Hit 'em up.
Hit 'em up.
Tupac.
I want people partying. First of all, I'm gonna be creepy. Like, you're not gonna just come look at me in no casket, right? That's just standard, right, for me. But I really want people to have some fun, man. I don't even want it to be one of those somber moments. I recently just had a cousin who passed away a couple of days ago, and we kind of saw it coming because they went to the hospital, they put on life support, and then everybody knew that, hey, on this day we're gonna take her off. And in that moment, I really kind of got jealous of her just a little bit, because I'm like, you need to go do something that we all scared to do. You know what I'm saying? You need to go do something that we all scared to do. And I don't know what's on the other side of it, but we all scared to do it, but we all got to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when we leave here, I want you to think about a funeral as, man, we had time, we kicked it. You know what I mean? Because the somber funerals, I mean, how many funerals do you really remember?
Yeah.
Because nobody really wants to go back to a time when they're really sad.
Correct.
Because that's what funerals are typically, they are.
Mm-hmm.
But we all remember that party. You know what I mean? We all remember that function, whether it be in college, high school, kickback, or, we all remember that wedding. That was a great time, So I really want people to smoke as much weed as they can, drink as much liquor as they can, because I've never smoked, I've never drank. So I want to do all that in my house.
Neither have we, right?
Yeah, I don't even know what it tastes like. I don't know.
Yeah, we
I
don't
don't
know.
know. So it's like,
And anyone saying that we do,
I dare you to find
find a video.
Find something. Find proof. Yeah. But kick it.
But also that speaks to the privilege that we have.
Mm-hmm.
If you live a long life, then celebrate it.
Yeah.
But if you died at 10 or 15, then I understand the somberness. I understand the absolute
difficult to imagine.
Yeah. My mom passed away, and my mom had lived a great life, but I was saddened because she died during the pandemic of COVID, and those were tragic times. People were not allowed to see their families, and in fact were kept from touching their family members, and just further making it so traumatic. And I say that because that was only a few years ago, but in 20 years, if someone's watching this, they're not going to understand the complexity of what this pandemic did to separate patients from families. And people passed away alone with maybe a nurse there, and not a hospice nurse.
Nope. Charge nurse.
Just a charge nurse on her 11th hour on that shift, and just trying to give some respect to that gentleman laying there alone. And his 30, 40-year-old, 50-year-old man.
Yeah.
And that devastated me. To know that my mom died during that period, and we did get to say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
We had to threaten civil action.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
To say goodbye, and we told them we accept any consequence, and they made us sign a document.
That's cool.
And if you go in there and you get sick, baby, we don't listen. Let me explain something to you.
Yeah.
That's my mom.
Yeah.
And we went in there, and it was my sister's idea. We held my mom's hand, and we played songs that we had a special connection with. And so that question is relevant to what we do, and our lives are built around these beautiful moments and songs.
Yeah, music.
The music just does that. It hits that spot.
Yeah.
Couples have their song.
Couples have their song.
Yeah. And moments have their songs as well. And so, hit them up.
No, well, that's the first song that I thought about, just because I'm like, that'll get the juices going, All
right, now that we started with that one, the rest of the playlist.
Yeah, the rest of the playlist, y'all can do with it as y'all wish, but, man, but as long as it gets people's feet moving, man, I don't care what it is, as long as it gets people's feet moving. I listen to a lot of country music lately, a lot of Chris Stapleton. I don't know why. I have no clue. But I challenged myself to like grow my music palette. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I told him. I said, listen, I have a connection to 1980s country. And the reason why is because I was a young man in the 1980s. And country music had this beautiful surge. And I have this connection to George Strait and Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson's and Dwight Yoakam's of the world. And then I left country music for a while, and hip hop and R&B and Tejano music, and then he connected me to what's it called? Banda. And I was like, man, I don't really know if I can do that. It's too much tuba. It's too much tuba. But now I like it. Man, we'll put you on some songs before you leave. And then I found a song and this artist that spoke to me. And that's what I was telling you, Jelly Roll. He wrote this song, and I'm going to encourage you to listen to it on your way home today. And it just hit a different way. You could tell the artist wrote it, and you could tell the artist lived that life.
Okay.
And I'd like to think that every one of us here has lived a life where you feel like, am I worthy? Why do you even love me? Why am I so lucky to be able to love my son and my daughter? What did I do?
What did I do to
receive this blessing?
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to connect to that. And also what I'm trying to do is, before this wraps it up and we end it, my goal is to try to connect Jelly Roll and interview him.
We got to do it.
We got to do it.
Say no more.
Is there an artist that you'd like to meet in your last 30 days, that someone that you'd like to connect to?
Somebody that I would like to connect to my last 30 days. Artists.
And it can't be Beyonce because he already has. Beyonce.
No.
It can't be Mary J. Blige because she's
that's
mine.
yours. Okay.
So just so we're clear.
Man.
You know me, Mary J.
Mary J's the one for you. That's good. No.
411.
Yeah. Man. It would probably have to be Jay-Z, man. It would probably have to be him. Like I used to didn't like listening to Jay-Z. I had an uncle who's a little bit older than me, and he used to always play Jay-Z. I'm like, what do you see? Like Nelly is my guy. Like, I'm a nigga biased. Yeah, I'm biased. I'm from there, but we're in St. Louis at the time, and I'm like, bro, what are you listening to this for? And I'm like, bro, this is horrible. He was like, I'm like, this is trash, dude. Like, put something on that we get. And I don't know when it clicked. I don't know when, it came about. J. Cole. J. Cole would be the guy who I would visit. But the Jay-Z, if I can get both of them in the room, that'd be great. But something clicked, man. And I think what clicked is I just grew up. I just grew up.
But J. Cole's a different kind of artist, right?
J. Cole's a different kind of artist.
He's throwing some knowledge at a different level.
It's a different way. It's a different way.
My son connected me to him and said, you gotta listen to this guy. I'm like, I'm too old for all that. No. Don't worry about the genre. Listen to the message.
Listen to the message. Yeah. I like J. Cole the way he carries himself. He carries himself very. You wouldn't even know he, has amassed whatever he's amassed in life. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like he really lives real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can see that.
You can see it, and he doesn't. He lives for the moments, not the monuments.
Yeah.
That's what he's looking for. So.
Yeah.
What's your? I like your question, man.
One more question. Oh, that last question. Yeah. So one of the questions that we've been talking about, we've been throwing around is, at the end of the day, I know you mentioned you wanted to be cremated, but if it was a traditional burial, who would, let's just say 6, would be those 6 people that carry your casket that last time before it goes deep under?
It's a visual representation of who's got your back.
Who got your back? Yeah.
That's what it is. And I know you're gonna get cremated. I'm gonna get cremated.
Yeah.
But I also like the thought of if that weren't an option.
Yeah.
Who would I ask for that last time?
The last time? Yeah. My Uncle Chris for sure. Just because he's been the most consistent man in my life from the time I was a child to me. Now I talk about I'll pick up the phone right now. It'll be a 4-hour conversation, just every week. I have a friend of mine, Demetrius Watts. I've been working with him in the barbershop since I left, where we live. And this brother has been a beacon of like discipline. He's a younger. I've always told him, I'm like, man, you're what every man would want in a son. Just because he's been able to see how people move, and he doesn't judge. He just sees it and take the good, leave the bad, and move accordingly. By far the most disciplined dude I've ever met in my life. My cousin Antoine, I grew up with him. That's just, I didn't have brothers and sisters, but that's my brother. That's just my guy. I have a friend I met in college. His name's Michael Lindsay. We were roommates throughout. We actually met on some like beef stuff. Like they gave the room that I wanted to him, and I was like, man, this new. How did he get? I've been here. Like again, all my stuff at that school has always got taken by somebody that's new that caved it, right? You know what I mean? But he's one of those ones that that's just been a consistent figure in my life. My friend Francisco, Hispanic dude, I used to call him Fernando. Like I don't know why, and he was like, dude, if we're gonna be friends, I need you to learn my name. I need you to learn my name. I was like, man, all y'all Mexicans, man, y'all like the same thing, man. He's like, dude, you keep calling me Fernando. It's Francisco. He's about couple letters off, man. But by far, he's one of the best people I know. One of the best people I know. And then lastly, man, my son, and he probably wouldn't have enough strength if these 30 days happen today or tomorrow, but I need him to be at the the head of that at that coffin, and just understand that, like, hey, yo, man, it's on you now, and
in fact, everything you're doing is to prepare him for it's on you now.
It's like, yeah.
Everything you do.
My whole identity in fatherhood is truly preparing him for the day that I'm no longer here. That's it. I don't know how it is to raise a daughter. I don't know if it changes with her, but for him, bruh, like I'm giving all this. You better catch it.
I think that for the children it doesn't change, but for the fathers, we change. I treat my daughters, and I know you can slam me. I treat them differently. I'm a little bit tougher on my sons. Both of my sons are men of color, and I believe that the world is a little less forgiving to them. I wish it weren't true, but I believe this to be our truth. And for my 2 beautiful daughters, I know that safety is my biggest concern. And I ask them all the time, are you safe and are you happy? And that's all I need to know.
See, that's good. But
it's different.
Similar. My daughter looks just like me. Okay? She looks just like me. She didn't even look like she came out of my wife. My wife is a light-skinned woman. My son looks just like my wife, right? And I thought I was having a conversation with somebody, and I thought about the underlying tone of why I parent them different. My daughter, I'm just always telling, like, my nickname for her is Pretty, because I know she's a little black, chocolatey little girl with coarse hair, and I'm like, the world may not call you pretty, so I'm gonna give it to you as much as I can. Now my son, he's this little light-skinned, light-eyed little boy, and I'm athlete, all that, and they're gonna test you. So I'm gonna callous you to the point to where you're ready for whatever test comes along. You get what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be, I'll give you love, right? I gotta do that, but I also gotta be your first book. I gotta be, because this world is unforgiving. It's unforgiving. So I think those.
And let me listen. So have you heard that? The first bullet, it's with parameters. It's in a protected area, because when it happens outside the home, there's nothing he can do. He doesn't have the tools to respond. He doesn't know what to do, and you don't have the ability to be like, that was too much. That was not enough. We're here. I'm teaching them, and so I embrace the same concept.
Yes.
In our home,
yes.
I'm gonna be tough on you. I want you to hear what you probably gonna hear out there.
Right.
Now, let it raise your eyebrows. Deal with your emotions.
Yes.
Now respond. Because if you respond like that at school, you're done. You respond like that on the field,
you're done. You're done. The situation happened with him. I coach him hard. I coach him hard. I coach him hard. And he had a situation with his coach who, on that team.
The coach ain't got nothing on the day.
The coach ain't got nothing. And the coach, he went at him. I need you to stop. You doing this, bro. And then he looked at him. My son's 4. He plays 8U baseball. You get what I'm saying? And he looked at him and he said, yes, sir. And when I saw it at that moment, I said, check, mission accomplished in that round. You're ready to deal with that. You get what I'm saying? You're ready to deal with. I know you can deal with a hard coach. I know you can deal with a loving coach. You know? And to be honest with you, the loving coach might not be the one that you need. You might need the hard coach. You know? And if you got too loving coach, I know I can be hard on you. If you got too hard of a coach, I know I can give you love.
You know what lesson I learned this lesson in the Army. And it was in the Army. I was 19, 20 years old. And they taught us, listen to the message, not the words.
Yeah.
So when they said, and I won't say the whole thing, but they said, blah, 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 they had all these choice words, this and that. The message was only, get the water bottle and put it right here.
Yeah.
Now they added 14 other words to it.
Yeah.
And maybe they may have even insulted your culture. So they hit you emotionally. And now you missed on the opportunity to get the water bottle and put it on the left-hand side of the table.
Simple.
You missed it. Listen to the message, not the words. And I missed that to my last day.
Yeah.
I just want to know,
What are you trying to say?
Okay, I got
What are you trying to say? Demetrius White, the guy that was going to be one of those guys that, you know, carries me to my grave, right? I always said, you have a very, very good ability to listen to what people are trying to say. Like he's like, well, they're trying to say, every time we're in the shop, we have he's like, well, he's trying to say this. And I'm like, and then the guy was like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to. I'm like, bro, how did you get that out of that? Again, I say he's a master in sonship. Yeah. Sonship. Like he just listens, man. And I'm like, I wish I had that. I wish I had that, dude. It's good.
No, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Our last 30, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's the concept. Your last 30 days. So, you know, the truth of the matter is, it's this crazy scenario. We had fun with it. We got some beautiful perspective.
Yeah.
But here's the good news. And news that is neither good nor bad. We don't know how long we have.
No.
I know this. There's not a date to your death.
No.
So I can't promise you, Armand, that in 30 days you will not be here.
Yeah.
This kind of our estimate.
Might be it.
And if I could take a moment just to tell my children I love them.
Yeah.
Because that's what's on my mind. That's on my heart. I love my children. I have 4 beautiful children. I respect them. And if I were to transition today, I knew that my work was done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what gives me comfort in transition.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not your last 30 days, you can live a whole life of opportunity and impact and influence. And I'm going to encourage you, if you have regret, if you have difficulty, fix it.
Yeah.
We can fix it.
Yeah.
You know, one day your parents may not be here.
Yeah.
And as such, in 100 years, everyone that you know will not be here.
For sure. Yeah.
And so the time is now to live. The time is now to love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to lose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to win and everything else. And sometimes we lose relationships. Sometimes we lose friendships. But may we never lose the love of our family.
Yeah.
And, you know, thank you for being here. So one last bit of information, last dosage of knowledge you can throw in. And maybe, how about a message to your 2 children? You know, as just a party words.
Yeah. Last message too. What would I tell them? I don't know. I'm trying to think now. That's interesting because you put me on the spot here.
Yeah.
If I had to have
they're
one,
30 years old. They're looking at each other right now. They're outside. They're looking at each other right now. Like,
yeah.
That was my dad.
That was my dad.
That was my dad. When we're dads.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I would tell them is to always love each other. Love, because you all young guys. I don't know if me and your mother gonna have any more children or anything like that, but you 2 together can accomplish anything. Don't let no man or no other woman or no other friends or even your own children come in between the relationship of brother and sister. And that's what I would teach them, because I didn't have a brother and a sister. So seeing how this bond is growing, and I'm looking at them and I'm seeing how, okay, you don't like when she do that, or he don't like when she, you know what I mean? Like, I got you. I see how y'all gonna grow up, just, within the next couple of years. But I would say that you two are enough for one another, and stay close. Stay close. Stay close. That would be my advice to them, because, and take care of your mom. Take care of her. I know she get on your nerves sometimes.
We love her too.
Yeah.
We love her. Having reached some fried plantain.
Yeah.
There's a weakness of mine right there. Man, I love her.
Plantains, good.
Well, thank you all so much for your time, for following us. And as we said, this is the level of guests that we're connected to and want to continue connected. If you think you have someone in your Rolodex, or someone you think that would also be in a position to take some of their time to talk to us and be on our little podcast, it's just a baby. We're infants in this game. We're learning so much, but we'd love to continue to talk to men about life, death, and everything in between. So thank you. We'll see you next week. Ben.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you.
My brother. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, brother.